everyone, so I'm back. I thought I wasn't gonna post a YouTube video this week, but I promised myself that I try to do it every single week, and I found myself having an extra hour block of time, so I figured why not. There's a couple of things that I really wanted to talk about today, and I really want to use today's episode more as like a podcast, I'd say, or more as something that we could just connect to, talk about. As you can see, I have thumb tendonitis, it turns out. Made a little joke on my Instagram the other day that it was because of all the hard work I've been doing on Instagram, making cool videos and stuff, but yeah, it's just a joke. I do work from home, so that's just the name of the game, I guess. So sorry, I'm not on a tripod today either because I can't find it, but I am showing up for myself, and that's what is the most important at the end of the day. So today I actually have one task that I have to do, and that is repotting this bonsai tree that I have had since I moved in, which was in 2022. And I actually went to Greece in 2020, oh my god, I want to say 2023. And when I came back from Greece, my bonsai was almost dead, and that was like heart-wrenchingly, I was sad. I was just so sad because I worked really hard to keep it alive, and when I got back, I took like the most proper care that I could for this plant, and it turned out to be the way it is today. But now I started to realize that there are parts, well, the stems at the bottom, I guess, or like just, it needs to be repotted, it needs to be given some love, it needs to be taken out of its current environment and put into something new, something fresh, something bigger. And I guess that's how I wanted to start today's podcast or episode, because I want to tell you that it's okay for you to do the same thing. The only difference is, unfortunately, there isn't someone repotting you, but basically you could definitely change the trajectory of your life at any point, at any time. And I think it's just super important to be aware that you are the creator of your life, you are the creator of what's to come, of the life you're gonna be living. And it's super important to be conscious of that, because most of us are just going through the waves of life and accepting everything that happens to us. But unfortunately, if you're not willing to put the effort into your own life, things probably won't change. So there is a quote that I wanted to bring up, and I really like quotes because sometimes it just really makes you think about the deeper aspects of life or the bigger picture. So I don't really know how it goes, honestly, but I think it's something like you can't change in an environment that's hurting you. I'm probably wrong. Let me just search that up because I might as well. And yeah, I really do think that being in a spot in your life where you want to grow and you want to get better and you want to be a better person or a bigger person, you can't do that in situations where you're always in the same environment with the same people who are maybe bringing you down, or the same conditions of your life that are bringing you down. And I know a lot of people don't always have the opportunity to just pick up and switch their life, and I'm someone who's like that. For example, like I have rent to pay, I have just a bunch of responsibilities that are mine, and when I make a decision, I have to be sure that this decision is not gonna cause further problems for me, if that makes sense. So yeah, let me look at that quote. You can't change in an environment that hurts you. You can't heal in the same environment that made you sick. There you go. So I guess my way, Google's way, whatever way, the message is the same, and that's the fact that you cannot change if you're always in the same place in your life and you're not willing to move out of your comfort zone, you're not willing to move into bigger or better things, you're not willing to put risk into your life, because risk is the only way. There will be failure and there will be success. Without risk, there is none of those two options, because everything is going to be the same constantly 24/7. And I can definitely attest to that things will always be the same unless you're willing to put one step forward, one action forward. And yeah, that's the bigger picture. So I will be repotting my plant today. I'll add a picture of that on my story on Instagram. And I actually used my story today, or my platform I should say, to ask my audience things that they're struggling with, because recently I've been struggling a lot. I just feel like super low mood. 2025 started on like this huge rocket, and then February came and it was just a bit of like a huge crash where everything felt like it was hitting all at once. My mind just felt like super low, and I do live in a country where there is snow constantly, well, in the winter at least, and just this week has been completely insane. There's been like so much snow, barely outside because it's like blistering weather, and the only time I really go outside is to bring out my dogs. So yeah, I've been struggling, and I don't want people to feel like they're alone in the struggles, and I think that that's something that social media doesn't offer enough to people. We always feel like we have to be okay and we have to be doing more with ourselves or showing up in a certain way, and I just don't think that's the reality. There are people who are there for you and who want to hear you and who want to help you be okay or feel a little bit better, or maybe even just talk about like what you're all feeling. And the comments that I actually got on my story today were kind of just things that I've always dealt with as well, so it's cool to see that there's like an overlap between what other people are feeling and what I'm feeling. So some of the things that pushed me, that like, well, not pushed me, but like that gave like a huge whoa that this is a real thing that a lot of people struggle with, is the lack of motivation. So that has been something that is just impossible for a lot of people to get through. Like, we always wait to be motivated, we're always waiting to be like tomorrow's gonna be the right time to, you try to tell yourself that once you're motivated, that's when the actions will come, or that's when the real success is gonna come, because you'll be disciplined, you'll be ready, you'll have an action plan, let's say. And unfortunately, the reality is that motivation will never come. Motivation is honestly a myth in my opinion, only because of the experience I've been having recently, which is me trying to build a personal brand, me trying to create an audience online that is, they value freedom, they value personal time, they value a life that's beyond the 9 to 5, a life that's individualistic, so you decide what you want. That's all I want, really. I want people to realize that there is this idea that we all have free will or freedom, but what really is freedom if you have a job to clock into, you have a bunch of other responsibilities that you don't really align with? That's not freedom to me. So that's what I'm building my personal brand around. I want people to know that you could change your life, you could do what you want to do when you want to do it, and unfortunately I am not there yet, but I am taking the actions to get there. So this definitely didn't start off of being motivated, because I can't say that I am motivated every single day, but I am disciplined. So I think discipline is something that we don't give enough credit to, because it's the only thing that will keep you showing up for yourself every single day. So without discipline, I wouldn't be going to the gym every single day. Without discipline, I wouldn't be posting every single day. There are days, of course, that I have zero motivation, and posting that day is like one of the least of my worries, but I show up for myself because I know the future I want, I know the route I'm trying to take, and without showing up for myself, there will never be any benefits to that. I also had a little couple of notes about motivation in general, because it's such a big thing that I think a lot of people struggle with, or it's something that we believe we need in order to start being successful and have a bigger picture. So the number one thing is that motivation will not save you. It's unreliable, and your brain is kind of wired to avoid discomfort. So as soon as you need that motivation to go do something out of your comfort zone, that motivation leaves. It doesn't want to be there. And I found that really cool, because it's crazy to say that like our brain is wired to avoid discomfort. If you really think about that, it's true. Every time you want to go do something that's out of your comfort zone, it's not gonna happen. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I do listen to a couple of podcasts, and motivation is something that a lot of people talk about, but more specifically, Mel Robbins offers this really cool technique, I guess, or it's called the 5-second rule. And basically you tell yourself 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you move. So instead of waiting for motivation to just be there for you when you really need it to be there, no, you need to wake up tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. You put your alarm for whatever time. When that alarm rings, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you get up, you go do it. So that is actually something that has helped me recently. I would say it's maybe 2 months I'm using this 5-second rule when I'm really unmotivated, and I always end up getting up, I always end up doing what I have to do because 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm doing it. That's just what it is, I get up. Another huge thing that I wrote down was that action creates motivation, not the other way around. And that also is true. At the beginning of building my personal brand, everything felt like a mess. I had no direction at all, but I just kept telling myself that one action would lead to a bigger picture. And honestly, it's a slow start, but it's working out, and I'm happy with the way I am online. I'm happy with the brand I'm currently building, and I'm happy with my message, and that's what matters to me the most. Small steps lead to bigger feelings of accomplishment, and I have to agree, because if I wasn't posting every single day, I wouldn't feel as accomplished as I am when, for example, a video of mine does really, really well, or I get a contract, or I'm one step closer to that reality that I want to be in. Another big thing is just to embrace discomfort. Being uncomfortable is probably like the worst feeling in the world. Your heart's racing, you just feel like lost or uncomfortable, and you're doubting yourself, but you definitely need to just be aware of those emotions and be aware of the actions you're trying to do. You're exiting this discomfort, you're going towards this discomfort so that there's something bigger on the other side, and once there is that bigger thing on the other side, you'll be happy that you allowed yourself to just feel those emotions and experience those feelings. So that's a really big thing about motivation. I don't think motivation is anyone's friend, but that's okay. Like I said, be disciplined, write yourself a little to-do list, just show up for yourself in the ways that you wish you were showing up, and do the most that you could do every single day. And eventually the smaller steps, the smaller actions will lead to the bigger accomplishments. So that was the first thing that someone mentioned they were struggling with, and I definitely agree with that. It's something that I think a lot of people like just struggle with, so it's good to talk about. And you know, I'm always open to talking about these things on my Instagram as well, @alamirandi. But I wanted to use just this time also to just talk about it, because I feel like, well, maybe I'm just not seeing the videos, but basically YouTube kind of highlights the bigger and better things, or maybe all of social media highlights the bigger and better things. So it's nice to talk about this and just validate that these are real things that people are struggling with. The second thing that people mentioned was impacting them was seasonal depression, and oh my god, is that something that I think half of the world, no, I'm just kidding, for sure not half the world, but a big portion of people are for sure struggling with. And I study psychology, I'm doing my master's right now to become a psychotherapist, and this is something that I constantly hear people are facing troubles with. The lack of sunlight in the winter is crazy. Sometimes I don't even remember when the last time I saw the sun was, and that to me is a reason I want to leave Montreal. But it's also just a huge blur, I guess, because how are we humans who are not seeing the sun? And maybe it is my fault that I don't see the sun as often, but I have a job to attend to, I have school to attend to, I have this that takes a lot of my time, and so yeah, I'm not always outside as often as I would like to be, but again, that's what I'm working towards. So everything is for a greater and bigger purpose. But seasonal depression is just something that's super hard to deal with alone, and it's something that a lot of people don't acknowledge as a real thing. It's a real chemical imbalance that you're feeling that is impacting you and bringing your mood to be so low. So that's okay. Validate yourself, be okay with where you're at, and you know, there are a couple of things that people say to do that helps, and sometimes it's to get a light therapy lamp, or just trying to see the sun 10 minutes as you wake up. For me, that's something that doesn't happen often. I'm usually like pretty rushed morning to night, and I don't know, I guess I just go through the motion, but it's definitely something I feel that it impacts me and my levels of creativity, my motivation, my discipline, my ability to show up for myself, my my socialization, my social battery. Sometimes I'm just so like bleh, and I don't want to do anything because the sun is not outside. I finish work and the sky is the same color as it was this morning. So that is something that I think a lot of people struggle with, and I'd love to know if anyone has any tips or tricks that they use to help them with that, because I'm sure a lot of people would benefit. I for sure would. So please comment that. I would really appreciate it. And I have a little bit of a motivational maybe number to give you about summer is soon to be here. When I say 122 days, that sounds like a lot, but in reality it's actually just 17 weekends where, you know, before sun really is ours to stay. So 122 days until June 20th, I believe, which I guess you could say is a lot. When I saw that number, I was kind of like, that hurts the heart, but it's okay. It is what it is. We'll get through it. We always do. If you ever need to talk to someone, please, my messages are always open. Like, I'm always willing to talk. I don't want anyone to ever feel alone, because feeling alone in your thoughts, feeling alone in your depression, feeling alone in your low moods, it's a horrible thing. And there are people there who care about you. I care about you, and I hope we could build a community of people who are willing to embrace each other and just help each other out throughout this. And the third thing that people said was impacting them this week, or that they were struggling with, was going back to work after some time off. And I think that is also something I struggle with. I'm a huge traveler, I'm a huge outdoor enthusiast. I love everything that has to do with wellness, outdoors, travel, those three things. Call me, I'm there. But you know, often the seasonal depression or the depression kicks in when I come back from my travels. So last year, for example, I went to Iceland. Yes, it's a winter destination, but that trip was like the most beautiful and life-changing trip of my life. But regardless, when I came back after those 10 days, I was hit with this huge wave of like, what is my life right now? Like, I can't even put words to how I was feeling. So I'm assuming a lot of people might feel that way too. And sometimes it's a little bit of a like slap in the face, because the reality is that we all work, we all have jobs and responsibilities to come and attend to. And sometimes it hurts to know that the life you're living apart from your job, or apart from things that are taking up this mental energy or this mental toll, are bringing you happiness. So in my case, traveling makes me super excited, super happy, super grateful to just be in a whole other country, a whole other world, where who I am isn't defined by my job or my personality or who I am here in Montreal. I love traveling just to be meeting people, to be seeing different parts of the world, because it just opens your eyes to say that there is another world out there that isn't the four walls that you're stuck in every single day. So with that being said, I am going a little off topic here, but I just want to say, you know, work is part of the routine. Work is part of what we have to do, and unless you're making the changes to change that, this will just be something always. So I guess if your reality is that, you know, you believe you'll always work, my advice to that would be to like find something that fills up your cup apart from work. Don't let work be the thing that's giving you the joy of your life. Make something else be the joy. So in my case, I love hiking, I love being outdoors, so my days off are definitely spent doing things that I love with the people I love. And of course, like, rest days are just normal, but like that fills up my cup too, because sometimes you're just so burnt out and you don't know how to continue sometimes, but that's okay. Yeah, so those are the things that people are struggling with. I brought out the main three of them just because I feel like it's something that a lot of people keep on the low and don't really talk about. But these are really real things, and they're valid things to be feeling, and I don't want anyone to ever feel like there isn't a world where people aren't feeling these experiences. It's just part of the roller coaster of life, the way things come and go. And I want you all to feel like there is a bigger and better reality or future for you, and that's what this channel really is about. I want to inspire you. I want to have an influence on the people who want to make a difference in their life. So if you're still watching this and you're here, you know, every decision you make can make an impact in your life, for the better or for the worse. If you're always making those actions that are going to be bigger, better towards a dream goal. So for example, me posting my YouTube video today is for a bigger goal. I have a huge visualization, a huge potential for where I want to be in the future, what I want my reality to look like, and I'm showing up for myself. I'm doing what I have to do. And yeah, there are of course things, you know, I don't want to sound like my life's all perfect because it's far from perfect. My life's human. My life is experiencing the experiences that come. My life is accepting the challenges that come, accepting the successes that come, and I take that full-heartedly. I know that whatever the world brings me is mine for a reason, and it'll lead me to something bigger and greater. So with that being said, thank you so much for hearing me out, listening to this video. I hope it maybe makes you feel a little bit better, that other people are also feeling this way, that I'm here for you. I'm definitely here for you. So if you ever need to talk, please just message me. If you want more topics to talk about, let me know. I really wanted it today to be more of like a personal discussion, a personal conversation where I'm authentic and raw with you guys. And thank you for being the same way back with me on social media, because social media can be this really big and scary place sometimes where you just feel alone and judged and fearful of like who's gonna say what or all that stuff, you know, that are limiting beliefs, unfortunately, but they're things that we took into our life as we were raised and we started to believe them. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, subscribe. I'd love to offer so much more. I am going to Bahamas in March, so I'll have a really, really cool vlog with that. And until then, though, there are still, I think, 24 days, something like that. But there are 20 something days until I leave on vacation, so you will definitely see me on YouTube another couple of times. And yeah, thank you so much. Have a great week. Keep positive vibes. Be disciplined with yourself. Make a to-do list. Follow that to-do list. Show up. And don't give up on your dreams, because they are yours as soon as you go reach for them. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.